So hello once again, very warm welcome to all of you for this webinar that we have organized. I really appreciate you taking this time out to spend this next 1 hour with us on this journey of sharing between Inspira Financial and BrowserStack around how they have gone about scaling their automated testing portfolio. My name is Sambit. I lead the global commercial sales for BrowserStack, and I have two esteemed guests with me today from Inspira Financial. And I would really want to give them a minute for them to introduce themselves and maybe talk a little bit about their roles and responsibilities with Inspira Financial. So without further ado, let me introduce them. I have Radmila Faye. She's the software development and QA manager with Inspira Financial. Very welcome, Radmila. Thank you for joining us. And along with her, we have Himanshu Kumar, who's the lead quality engineer from Inspira Financial as well. Welcome, Himanshu. Thank you for your time and joining us today. So maybe I'll start with Radmila. Radmila, over to you. Would you like to take a minute and just quickly talk us through about your profile?
Absolutely. Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Hello, everyone. It is a pleasure to have an opportunity to speak today and to participate in a panel discussion. As Samit mentioned, my name is Radmila Faye. I also go by Rada Faye, and I'm a software development QA manager at Inspira Financial. I'm part of the technology team of the retirement and wealth vertical. We also call it as RNW. I've been using this abbreviation during my portion of this webinar today. Originally, I am from Azerbaijan, and me and my family, we moved to the United States in 1999. I joined the Inspira Financial in October of 2021. I spent most of my career in QA field. Today, my team provides the testing services across all squads of RNW, covering the areas such as functional, regression, production validation, testing, the end-to-end testing, and that obviously includes test automation. And our test automated portfolio includes GUI and API-based automation testing. With that, I can hand it over to Himanshu for your introduction.
Yes, thank you so much. Over to you, Himanshu.
Thanks, Sambit, and thanks, Rada. Hello, everyone. This is Himanshu Kumar, and as Sambit already introduced me, I'm a lead quality engineer with Inspira Financial, and I am part of the technology team on the health and benefit vertical of the company. So Rada is on R&W side, I'm on the health and benefit side, so I'll be using HNB abbreviation. So yeah, I have been with Inspira Financial as a full-time employee since January last year. But there's a history how Inspira Financial came in. I mean, it was a rebranding that happened this year. There was a merger between Payflex and Millennium Trust Company. So Millennium Trust Company was the original company, and that merger occurred, and that's when Payflex came in. And the reason I'm giving this background, I used to work in under vendor contract for Payflex since 2014. So you can say I've been with the company for almost a decade now, and I've seen the QA practices evolve from where we were back in 2014 to where we are right now. There were a lot of manual testing that we used to do versus the kind of automation that we have now. And yeah, and I did all the QA practices on the HNB side, and it involves functional testing, regression testing, helping with production checkout, involves web applications, involves API testing. We are starting with performance testing as well, and there has been accessibility testing going on. We are looking to enhance that further. Yeah, that's pretty much from my end.
And just one quick comment. As Himanshu mentioned, we are representing two main verticals of the Inspira Financial, and the BrowserStack tool is a tool that created all the collaboration between me and Himanshu.
Yeah.
So, yep,
All
we've
right.
been working close together on various aspects of this tool integration into our services.
Thank you. Thank you once again, Himanshu, and Radha is what I'll go with from here on.
Yep.
Thank
Yep.
you. Thank you once again for your time and investing this time and sharing with the fraternity. We have a lot of people on this webinar today, and my guess is a lot of them are from similar background, similar job profiles, similar responsibilities, maybe different industries though. But I really hope our conversation can help all our colleagues and peers in the industry who are on the webinar today to take away something useful, important for their respective businesses. Can we just move on to a little bit of housekeeping? And yes, please. So the session will run for 60 minutes. That's what I told you. So just setting some expectations around that. All participants, because this is a webinar, this is a Zoom webinar tool, all of you will be muted. This is also to ensure that there aren't unnecessary disruptions. I'm pretty sure that all of you are familiar with the processes there. The session is being recorded. Just to let everybody know that we are recording this session, and this recording will be available to all of you who are attending this session today. So be rest assured about that. And what is a webinar and discussion without questions? So we will have questions and answers. We will put a dedicated time at the end once the discussions are over. But in the meantime, if through the flow of the conversation, if anyone has anything that you want to ask, then please post it on the Q&A window. And we have someone from our engineering team in BrowserStack, or even if it is addressed to Himanshu or Radmila, we can take them through the session. So Jim has already posted. Will we be sharing the recording? Yes, Jim, I just mentioned that, so hope that answers. Okay, can we move on to the agenda, please? All right. Simple but impactful is what we want to deliver for all of you today. Like I said, my belief is most of you who are here today are from the same fraternity. You are from the QA testing side of the world, and we realize how important your role is in driving the digital transformation journey for the company. So that will probably be the hallmark and the foundation of this conversation. Why, how the QA is important for driving this digital transformation. We will take that forward in the context of the Inspira journey, and that's why we have these esteemed guests with us from Inspira side. So that is what we will discuss further. And then once we have heard from Himanshu and Radha about their journeys, we'll see if we can do some problem solving in this call if possible, or we can always go ahead and keep the engagement going. You know your respective relationship managers, the account managers that are working with you. I'll probably leave my contacts here as well at the end of the session so that we can continue this conversation even post the webinar. That's a pretty much simple yet tight agenda that we have today. So with that, we would like to get started, not with questions, but for the panelists, but for all of you. And what we have coming up is a small little poll for all of you who are here today. I would request you to please participate in this poll and choose your answer. The question is very simple. Which is the biggest challenge you are facing with your existing testing solution? Is it real device coverage? Is it instant access to devices? Is security bothering you, the data security part of it? Or do you have customer support that is something that you're not able to manage really well? So I really would encourage all of you to just click the button and participate in the poll, which probably could be the foundation of our conversation in this webinar today. All right. How much time do we have? Do we give another 30 seconds? All right, the poll's closed. Okay, so there we are. Real device coverage, and why am I not surprised? Of course, instant access to devices. Everything else is also equally important, but definitely real device coverage seems to be the standout amongst most of the participants who participated in the poll. Um, so let me kickstart this conversation by bringing in Radha and Himanshu on this poll results. Your thoughts, your views on this poll results. Are you surprised, or this kind of resonates with what you see and what you hear? Maybe I'll start with Radha. Over to you.
I am absolutely not surprised. Obviously, it's our clients are accessing our systems from multiple devices. We welcome them, but we also need to make sure that we are testing our applications on those devices before actually rolling them to production. And so, just like the most of the audience indicated, that is a top priority out of everything else. And I'm happy to say that the BrowserStack is very important for us in achieving this role. So no surprises from my side. Himanshu.
Himanshu, your views?
Yeah, same here. Even I'm not surprised. I was expecting this to be the case. Like this would be the highest priority one. And in our case as well, on health and benefit side, we have a mobile app as well for iOS and Android platform. So it becomes even more important for us to make sure that we are testing on those real devices rather than just relying on the emulators or the simulators that we have. We have seen inconsistent results while using them in the past. So, I mean, as I said, I have seen that journey happening. So we used to use the emulators in the past. We saw the inconsistencies, had to switch over, and over the period of time, there are multiple cloud platforms that we have used. Where we could test with the mobile devices, and our experience with BrowserStack has been really good among all those platforms where we have used within Payflex or now within health and benefit vertical of Inspira Financial. So yeah, I would say access to the real devices is important so that we get those consistent results and know what exactly user is going to experience at their end rather than testing on the emulators.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I guess it's a no-brainer to understand that in this entire digital transformation journey, the customer experience is going to be the epitome of success, right? So thanks for sharing that insight. And clearly, the simulator cannot replicate the kind of results that you get in a real-time with the real-time devices. Look, I mean, like any other industry, or like most other industries, tech is probably permeating everywhere, and financial industry has probably been the biggest beneficiary of the tech penetration. So with all this transformation going around in the financial industry around digital transformation, customers expecting more ease, more convenience, which basically means the user interface of apps and desktops become very, very, very critical for you. So how do you see the QA team, playing a role in this transformation journey in general? What's your observation? This question is for both Radha and Himanshu. You can take turns.
Radha, you want to go first?
Sure, absolutely. So on a retirement and wealth vertical, as I mentioned before, we are in QA, we are targeted with testing of all our tier 1 portals. Just to name them, the onboarding portal, the investment portal, the retirement portal, the custody portal. They are all web-based applications, and they are available on all types of devices. Although retirement and wealth vertical does not have its own native mobile application yet, but the clients are accessing the portals using mobile devices and all browsers. And so in QA, we test all these portals. We also test several internal applications, such as, for example, the Salesforce or the Avoca application for the backend management of clients, accounts, contracts, agreements. And the infrastructure is very complex as well. We test in QA, we test the external and the internal API, and we have the SQL database. We also have a NoSQL Mongo database, and multiple web tools for processing the backend requests. So all of this in the scope of our QA testing services. We also, as part of our end-to-end regression business workflows testing, we involved in the testing of the third-party tools, for example, the Innovest or Innovest Cloud, because we want to make sure that even after we done our part at Inspira Financial, the integrated systems are also receiving the data from us and able to present it in their systems as well. So as you can see, it's complex, it's very dynamic. We are obviously agile, and we deliver fast, frequently to the clients. Another point I want to make is a QA is also validates production. In production, we do not obviously test every single scenario or perform negative testing. However, when we release to production, we execute for each and every release, we execute the smoke testing in production to make sure that the code is indeed what we deployed, and the results of the happy path scenarios are what the users expect to see. And coming back to the BrowserStack, the significant benefit of using the BrowserStack is the fact that our applications are tested in all major devices. And we also use the parallel executions. We're going to be talking about this later on as well, but it helps us to execute this testing of all the portals at once, simultaneously, without slowing down our test execution cycle times.
Got it.
Yep.
Got it. Himanshu, anything you want to add on that?
Yeah. So on health and benefit side of the world, we have a wide range of product offering like FSA, HSA, HRA, benefit administration offered via Cobra direct billing. We recently launched a new product called Emergency Saving Fund, which was an existing product, got re-platformed once the merger happened. So there's a wide range of product that we are offering. So customers would use all of this product by accessing their online account primarily on the web interface or on the mobile app. And with this wide range of product, obviously you need to have a very robust and a strong with very complex background architecture for all the back office applications. So most of our backend applications are developed on Java and .NET technology stack, and the front-end applications that are exposed to the clients are through the .NET application. That's our member portal or the employer portal or say a consultant portal or the mobile app on Android and iOS platform. And we have our backend database on MS SQL Server. There are a lot of APIs, even internally, since the architecture is very complex. There are cross-application interactions happening. We have API interactions with third-party companies as well, where I mean there are zero authentication. So all those kind of things that you can think of in a complicated architecture. And from QA side, we have to ensure that all of these are working fine. Whenever there are enhancement or new features being added before it goes to production, we have to make sure everything has been tested thoroughly during the sprints. Yeah, obviously we are also in agile development methodology. So, and one of the goal at the enterprise level is to release faster, and that's where QA has to come in and help, ensuring that everything is tested on time. And since we are at the end of the life cycle, right, we cannot get started unless we get the code from our development team. So it becomes important that like once it is handed over to us, we can test fast and help in achieving that goal of releasing to the production as soon as possible. So coming to BrowserStack, and out so on the web application side, we don't use BrowserStack much. So primarily we focusing on the mobile apps one. So one of the primary benefit we have is with the parallel execution for the automated test that we can do on BrowserStack. So we were doing it for our in-house solution that we built for the web application, and recently with even on the mobile app side, we were able to integrate that to our daily regression. So we are running I think close to 500 or 600 mobile app test cases daily right now using BrowserStack platform. And that we have to ensure that it completes on time. So we make use of the parallel execution. Yeah, that's pretty much.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So essentially what I'm hearing and summarizing for all of you, for all of our friends out there on the webinar is, it is definitely a humongous task of responsibility for the QA team to be the bridge between the user interface and the coding team or the tech team, that is maybe the database team. So I think this is a massive amount of responsibility. And I'm guessing while you say it's important in your fintech industry, I'm guessing it's pretty much going to be the same across the board for other verticals as well. So thank you for sharing that. My follow-up question is to you, Himanshu. You mentioned a little while back that Inspira, there was the merger of the Millennium Trust and the Payflex organizations. Two came together, and you came in along with the Payflex side of the world, and you were in the vendor part of it. And then you have evaluated other vendors, other cloud vendors as well. So what were some of the challenges that you were facing when you were in that role before you came in as a part of the merger and took this over?
Yeah, so to answer that, so when I joined last year in January, we were already having our relationship with another company for testing our mobile app. They used to provide similar cloud solution where the real devices were hosted. We could do manual testing as well as we could do automated testing. So, and while working with them, I mean, we had some challenges. First of all, with the subscription model, how it was a little bit challenging there. Then we were having constant complaints around the screen resolution, how the screens would render on the devices when anyone would access them on the cloud platform. That was another problem. And then we struggled big time with automating theirs. So initially, whatever was provided to them, the SDK and everything that they provided, after integrating with them, we were able to get started. Once we started to run into any kind of technical issue, not because anything going wrong at our end, even if they would make any upgrade at their end, it used to become very difficult. Like, and since I'm not naming them, I can tell you that by the time we ended that contract, there was an open issue ongoing for almost 2 months where we were not able to run our automated test on the platform. So for almost 2 months, there was no automation testing. We had to test everything manually. And when it came to the time for renewing the contract, when it was going to expire, I mean, 2-3 months prior to that, and as Radmila actually mentioned earlier, that it was because of BrowserStack, we started interacting. We came to know that they were already using on R&W side, they were using BrowserStack, and BrowserStack had the capability for doing mobile app testing as well. So that's when we started interacting, and then we reached out to the account manager, got in with our evaluation. And when we started with evaluating BrowserStack, we did evaluation for 2 other platforms as well. And then yeah, in the end, we decided to go with BrowserStack with everything that we found during our POC. So, and so far it has been good. And I would really say that we love the kind of customer support that we get. So if there is an issue, we reach out to BrowserStack, we get responses within hours, I would say. So that
Well, thank
definitely, I
you.
would say, is the USP. Why I would personally want to continue. Again, it has to be the enterprise decision, but one of the reasons that I would want to continue with BrowserStack.
Of course, and thank you for sharing that. It's really heartwarming to hear that. Um, Radha, you were on the other side with Millennium Trust, where you were already using this. You were using this experience. You were using the tool. What was your experience on the other side? The reason that I'm asking is just trying to get a balance around someone who was not using and someone who was using. So if you could share your experiences.
Absolutely. So when I started back in 2021, the company already, MTC company, Millennium Trust company, had already a license for 5 live users and 5 Automation Pro parallel users. But the live users, they were used primarily for the ad hoc testing, and the automation licenses were not yet used. So in 2022, we used the managed services provider company and to help us to embark on the automation build out. So we started to build automation coverage simultaneously on all our main portals: consumer, RSP, ACP, custody services integration involving external API, as well as Auth0. It's for user management and authentication. And so the 2022 was very intense. We built all the frameworks. Currently, we have Selenium Java, Selenium C#, and the API automation. All of it has been integrated with the BrowserStack and with Azure DevOps tool ADO. And we are leveraging the pipeline-based executions. And very soon, towards the end of 2022, is when we realized that we are maxing out our parallels. So the browser support, customer support team reached out to us and explained to us that we're queuing our tests and we are slowing down our test execution cycle times. So we worked with the customer support team to purchase 5 more parallel licenses. And since then, we didn't have any issues with the ability to run testing on all portals at the same time. I want to talk a little bit about the ease of use for BrowserStack. We didn't have to do any formal training. The training was done on fly using some knowledge transfer, internal sessions, collaboration during the troubleshooting of the integration with ADO and establishing parallel executions. All I can say, it was a great experience without any major downsides or challenges. That's it. Also, I want to mention that many of you, I hope, know that there is a WebDriver, remote driver paradigm, and we can use it for the local executions or Docker images or ADO virtual machines. All of this has been in place and used for us reaching our goals. Fast, predictable, repeatable testing.
Perfect.
I think that's all. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Rada. I think
Sure.
this story, you have on one side you have Himanshu with who was having an experience where there were a bunch of pain points, and then you coming in with along with the Millennium Trust merger, I think dovetails very well. I think I have a follow-up question, but I was also looking at the Q&A window, and someone has posted there in the Q&A window around what is the exact plan that you guys are using. So maybe it kind of marries pretty well with the question that I was coming up next for both of you. So maybe you could cover a little bit around that as well. How has BrowserStack been empowering your team members in the last few years? And maybe you can just cover up bits and pieces of that, the plan that you are using, and that would probably answer Shiva's question there as well.
Rada, you want me to go, or do you want to take it first?
I can take it first. So one of the very powerful features of the BrowserStack is the video recordings. So we use this tool, this feature, to communicate with the product owners, with developers, with business, with production support, to showcase the defects that are found and to help in troubleshooting of these issues. It also serves as a tool for onboarding of the new team members as a learning of the application functionality. This is just one of the examples. Another example is the dashboards, the reports. As you all know, the management needs an understanding of automation coverage, for example, status of tests, and we're using the reports of BrowserStack widely. Email notifications, reports, as I mentioned, all of it presents a good picture of where we are with automation coverage. Kudos to BrowserStack functionalities. Yes.
All right. So on our end, I can say, and I'm going through some of the questions also that are present on the Q&A section. I'll try to cover any of them if it is possible
Absolutely.
for me.
Brilliant. That'll be great. Please do that.
Yeah. So for one of our use case was definitely having access to the real devices, and also whenever a new device is launched, at that time we and BrowserStack has been very good with that. Like most of the new devices that got launched even before it was available in the market, they would make it available on the platform, be it iPhone 15 series, last year when it got launched, or Galaxy S24 recently that got launched on Android side. So it helps us also to make sure that we are validating our features for the mobile app on the latest devices or with the updates in the operating system version. So yeah, so that's where I would say it has been helpful. And also, as Rada was mentioning, since I mean it's for us, it is not setting us in our role. It is not about just getting the job done. It also is important for us to keep a track of how things are going, and then make a decision on what improvements are needed, and likewise keep our management also updated on the kind of progress that is being made. So with all the tools and capabilities that are available to us, where we can get a quick view of how devices are being used, what kind of devices are being used, which device has been used the most, the number of minutes people have been spending in each session. So it provides really great detail level, in-depth view of everything that we would want to know. So those are readily available on the admin part of the portal, where we can manage things and view all those. And let me take a couple of questions. One I'm seeing from Nilesh, where he has asked what kind of programming language do you prefer to use, and the framework that we prefer. So from programming language point of view, I would say, I mean, again, BrowserStack would not limit it as far as I'm aware, but Sambit, you can also answer that. In our case, we use Java for all our automation coding, and the framework that we use is with TestNG. Again, we have tried with Cucumber, and I would not say anyone is better than another other one. You can use either one of them. Both have their own pros. I mean, benefits are not going to cons. I don't see there are any cons of any of the framework. But in our case, we have been using TestNG for both our web application automation as well as the mobile app. I hope that helps in answering. And you any kind of framework you have, it will not. I mean, if there are changes in the requirement within the sprint, your automation framework or the platform where you are testing does not help you at all. So if it is agile, whenever there are changes with the requirement sprint, I would say it should be taken up as a new story in the next sprint or within the same sprint. With how mature the framework is, that can help in being up to date with your automation. If you want to do in sprint, something we call it as in sprint automation. Ours is automate first mindset, where whenever a user story is planned, we figure out what are the things that are needed to be done for automating them, and that's how we have developed our framework.
Yeah, perfect. Go ahead, Radha.
I can also add to this something recently new even for my team. The highlight of this year for our company is migration to the financial services cloud. And that requires automation of the sales force. Up until recent, the Salesforce testing has been manual. And but we quickly realized that we cannot continue this way. We need to automate Salesforce. And the decision was to use a tool called Playwright for this automation. It is a next generation of Selenium tool. It is powerful, it's easy to use. And sure enough, BrowserStack has integration with this tool. So we've already completed successful proof of concept, integrated with the BrowserStack, and we are able to leverage the solution as we move forward with expansion of Salesforce automation. Just wanted to add it here since we're talking about technology.
No, perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much, Radha. I think glad you mentioned Playwright there. And yes, I would double up on what Himanshu said around for complete flexibility around the programming language and the framework. So yeah, just talk to us, talk to our engineers, and we will give you more details. So anytime. But thanks for endorsing that. I mean, what you see on screen is our 4 flagship core products, Live, which is the manual cross-browser testing, App Live, the manual real device testing, Automate and App Automate. This is for the automation side of things for both cross-browser and mobile app testing, and everything that you heard about, you know, the range of devices, real devices, everything you heard about world-class customer support, and our integration with all the new devices, the flagship devices that come in, whether it is the iPhone 15, the Samsung Galaxy S24. We are always ahead of the curve on that. So you get that. That's the kind of experience that you would get if you go into the BrowserStack platform. So thank you for endorsing and validating that to both of you. Just switch a little bit here because we are talking to experts from the fintech industry. Himanshu, to you, how important is the data security or the data privacy part, and how can BrowserStack play a role in that?
Yeah. So in our case, it is not just the banking part of the world. Our product offering kind of goes more towards health insurance as well, and we offer debit card as well. So for us, you call it PII, you call it PHI, PCI. We have to compliant on all those front. Although with QA testing, we don't use any of the real world data, but still it is important for us wherever, if there is an external partner where we are doing our testing, we cannot leave any data behind there, even if it is from QA fake data. So BrowserStack ensures that whatever data has been created while testing on those devices are wiped off once the session has ended. That kind of helps us. That was one of the security thing that had to pass before we could get an approval on going ahead with BrowserStack, and that is one of the key components whenever we partner with any third party. So yeah, that I hope that helped answering something.
Yep. Thanks for that. And you know, riding back on the data security and the privacy factor, Radha, I think the question that I have for you is, given the scale of operations that Inspira has, you know, how has parallel testing been a beneficiary for you?
Sure. So I can provide a sample related to the test data. As Himanshu mentioned, we're not using production data, and we provision our test data by ourselves. One of the very first things we've implemented was the utility we call Test Data Cleaner. The Test Data Cleaner enables us to recycle our test data, and it is being used on an ongoing basis. We have hundreds and hundreds of iterative executions of this tool. It enables us to execute each and every test with the same initial state. And because otherwise it would be difficult to simulate real users if we were not able to do so. This tool is Java-based. It is also part of the BrowserStack integration. As I mentioned, we run it continuously, and it supports a variety of test data generation, extraction, cleaning, it provisions data for all of our portals, and quite instrumental for us. Doesn't have masking because, again, we don't deal with production data. I mentioned that we do test in production, but obviously we've created the test accounts, and they simulate real users, but they don't interact with PII or PHI data points.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. So the follow-up question, and I'm seeing a lot of questions on the Q&A panel as well. So Himanshu and Radha, if you want to pick one of them and answer, feel free to just stop me and do that. We'll probably keep it a little fluid while we have someone from our engineering team who's addressing them, but just bear with him because he's typing it out. So it might just take a little longer than answering on the floor. But anything that Himanshu or Radha, feel free to just stop me and pick it up. But we spoke about Millennium Trust and Payflex coming together and two different testing teams coming together. How have you guys benefited from having a central testing team, QA testing team? Is that a best practice? Is there some learnings that you would want to share with your peers in the industry on that?
Sure. I can take that. One of the key performance indicators or metrics for QAs last year in a retirement and wealth vertical was the metrics around defects, how many defects slip to production, for example. And the other metric was test automation coverage. And we wouldn't be able to accomplish it without the BrowserStack giving us data on the number of automated test cases, coverage when it comes to how many manual test cases have been automated. To the approach that we've taken was obviously we don't automate each and every test case. It's not cost effective, but whatever we understand as priority one, we call it P1, regression test portfolio. The entire regression portfolio, P1 regression portfolio, has been automated. And when we look at the metrics, at the reports, it gives us and the management a good visual ability to understand the scale of automation and to see in terms of day-to-day executions even how many of them passing, how many of them failing, how many are failing due to the known defects. That another important metric. We know how many known defects are there in our applications, which sometimes we tolerate and we do release them to production if we believe that those are not critical, not impacting large user base. So on and all, it's all inside the BrowserStack, visibility into the quality of work that we do and the coverage that we provide.
Got it. Oh, thanks. That helps. And Himanshu, your views on having a central team?
Yeah, I mean, I would just extend to what Rada just mentioned. So, with all the kind of product that we are offering and kind of testing that we do, it is essential, and having that centralized approach and then one single platform where we can do this testing. Since we came from different background, obviously there were some in-house solutions that we already had. For example, for our web applications, we do all of our automated testing with our in-house solution that we had built. But I wish we had been exposed to a platform like BrowserStack at that time. It's just not cost effective right now to transfer everything on BrowserStack on the web application side. That would be one of the reasons that we still use our in-house solution that we had built, where we can we integrate with the daily deployment pipeline. And by the way, even with BrowserStack on the mobile app side, where we use it for our testing, we were able to exactly achieve all those integrations that we had with our in-house capabilities that we had built over the year. So one of the questions also that I saw was with respect to integrating with BrowserStack. I would say the integration was seamless. We just had to do, I think, just a couple of line of code changes with how we will connect to the platform. One of the hurdle that we had to cross was exposing our mobile APIs over the internet, because the BrowserStack devices are over the internet, which is outside our network. So we had to get that security clearance and then do some configurations around that. That was the only hurdle, I would say, in terms of integration. In terms of code changing, it was seamless. We were able to integrate pretty easily without too much of difficulty. So with day-to-day testing, it's we have to kind of keep a track of the total test cases that we are running, the areas that are getting covered, what is our pass percentage, which areas are being impacted the most, where we are seeing the bugs, and then perform some exploratory testing there. So all those is essential here. And with the reporting capabilities that BrowserStack provide, and also the things that we built in-house, that it definitely helps us.
Perfect.
And can I
Yes,
also
please.
add another aspect, which is, I think, very important. The BrowserStack lets us complete the end-to-end regression flows. And within the same test script, we can have several applications in play. As a live example, for example, a client submits a new account opening request from the portal. That's one application. That request then goes to the transaction manager on the back end, the second application. And delivery job sends it to the review portal. It's a third application. The reviewer approves submission, and then a new account gets uploaded to the Invest and then to the Salesforce. So these 5 applications are integrated within one end-to-end test scenario. Everything is running out of BrowserStack. That's how powerful the tool is.
Perfect. And
yeah,
which this leads me to my next question to both of you. We're talking about a test platform here in this case. So speaking about this platform story, beyond the 4 flagship products that I just shared with you, you know that we have a horde of new offerings that have come, which sit on top of our 4 core products and gives you a lot of insights around automation and ease and different areas of testing. So are you guys evaluating any of these?
Yeah, on the health and benefit side of the world, as I mentioned earlier as well, we are exploring tools for improving our accessibility testing and also to implement automation around that. So there are a few tools we are evaluating right now. In fact, and BrowserStack is definitely one of them because of our existing relationship. So yeah, that's one of them. And then in future, Percy might come in. I don't know whether it is an immediate need, but that could be another one that we might need in future.
On the visual testing side of it, right? Because
on the visual testing.
For the rest of our peers who are there, that's our offering on the visual testing side of it, and it's now there for desktop and mobile. All right, time for a quick poll, if that's okay with everybody. I mean, we've been sharing a lot of information, and I know there are a few questions that are there on the Q&A panel. There are a few questions which are very targeted for Inspira team. So I don't know, Himanshu or Radha, would you want to talk about this? One speaks about did the Inspira Financial team try to use the low-code automation tool, and would you want to share your opinion on that?
So I think Radha already mentioned about the Playwright evaluation that they did. Playwright is a low-code automation tool, and on the health and benefit side world, we have not explored, but we would definitely want to consider low-code automation tool as well. And since Playwright is the direction seems to be, so most likely that would be the one if we decide to invest there.
Got it. So Radha, nothing else from your side, right? Yeah. Sorry if I
interrupted. There's a question about the marking customers test data, and indeed this is what we do. We get the requirements and the data footprint of our customers or contracts from the business, and we mark them in a test environment to make sure that we have one-to-one comparison with the actual customer profiles when we operate in QA environment. And we're not using a copy of the live DB because, again, it's completely different objectives, and there is no need. if we're able to successfully replicate a customer profile or account, that's all it takes to be able to proceed with our workflow with completely simulated, completely manufactured test data. So I mentioned test data cleaner before. We also built the tool that we call test data management tool, and it is interactive. You can order what data do you need for your automated test. The tool will just generate it for you, put it in your test, automated test, and run with it. So it's been very useful approach for us to have the, as I mentioned, end-to-end, all the way starting from test data provisioning and finishing with the confirmations on the end user side that everything is successful.
Thank you. Thank you, Rada.
Okay.
Do we have any more questions? While people are typing them out, I also want you to know that we have our engineering team here reading your questions and giving you the best possible answers. I also would like to tell you that this is not the end of it. We can continue having conversations beyond the webinar. I'll leave my contact on the chat window as well. You have my email ID there, and feel free to reach out to me for anything that you would like to know. Be happy to discuss beyond the webinar as well. What you see on screen is something that we are very, very proud of. Some of the accolades and some of the recognitions that we have received in the last few months. And as an organization, this is testimony to the fact that we continue to invest in quality products. Our research and engineering team is committed to building the quality products for all of you who are out there in the QA space.
Just to reference something that Himanshu mentioned before, we are very happy with the customer support team of the BrowserStack. And we believe that they have all required skills in place in all areas involving this product to help you out.
Okay. Alejandro, you have a question around how much would cost your solution of generation of a test data. I would love to answer that. Let's take it up one-on-one if that's okay with you. I've given my contact details. You can see that sambit@browserstack.com. We'll be very, very happy to take this up for you. Any other open questions that need to be answered today? We have about 4 minutes before we close the webinar today.
If I may, I have a question to you guys, to the BrowserStack team.
Sure.
How do you define your roadmaps? How do you provision what, forecast what will be critical for your users in, let's say, 6 months from now? Which approach do you use?
Yeah, I think we are, we have always been keeping the tester first, the testing world as the priority. So anything and everything that end to end that a testing team, the QA team needs is going to be the priority. What we have achieved so far is with our investments around the infrastructure, based on which you saw those 4 core products, we now have a lot of trust and faith with our customers across the globe, more than 25,000 of them, who now believe that those flagship products are core to their testing needs. But what we also have from those infrastructure is a series of data points and in learnings that we have gathered over the last 12, 13 years that we have been doing this, which now helps us build upstream and downstream portfolios, which with more focus on analytics and automation that can keep helping the testing community, even the developer community in the near future. So there is a solid product portfolio that we have in place, which you should be, which you could learn from all of us. But I don't want to, I don't have the slide here. I can take this up separately as well.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So with that, I think if there are no further questions to be answered, I would like to really thank you, Himanshu and Radha, for sparing the time today and sharing your journey with the BrowserStack folks and your learnings, your challenges, and how we can benefit from each other. It has been wonderful hosting both of you, and I really appreciate the work that we are doing together. Thank you once again. Have a lovely week ahead. And to all the participants, to all the attendees, I really hope this last 60 minutes was good use of your time. You have our contacts. You know where to find us if you have further questions. Like I said, this doesn't end here. We will continue with this conversation beyond the webinar as well. So please feel free to connect with us and talk to us. And I wish you the very best. Thank you for your time.